Hey there, welcome to Chris's Texas Sports Podcast. I'm Chris, by the way. Let's take a look at the sports news. In Texans and Cowboys news, Texans head coach D'Amico Ryans is expecting the rest of the team's receivers to step it up after Nico Collins went down with an injury. Collins is on the injured reserve list and is expected to be out at least 4 weeks with a hamstring injury. Speaking of injuries, running back Joe Mixon was back at practice. He had an ankle injury in the Texans' Week 2 win over the Bears. Texans rookie tackle Blake Fisher got praised after his first start on a Sunday against the Bills. Texans kicker Kymie Fairbairn has been named the AFC Special Teams Player of the Week. This Sunday, the Texans will travel to Foxborugh to take on the New England Patriots. The Patriots are fourth in the AFC East with a 1-4 record. There are 4 teams in each division, so they're in last place. Ricky Drake May is going to get the start at quarterback for the Pats. The Cowboys signed defensive end Carl Lawson to the active roster. The Cowboys will host the Detroit Lions on Sunday. The Lions are second in the NFC North with a 3-1 record. In other NFL news, Chicago Bears owner George McCaskey confirmed they tried stealthily to sign Tom Brady back in 2020. Brady brought that up while he was working a game in Week 4 on Fox between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who he ended up signing with and leading to the 2020 to the Super Bowl after the 2020 season. Interim New York Jets head coach Jeff Ulbrich has taken the play calling responsibilities away from offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett and has given it to quarterbacks coach Todd Downing, who used to be the offensive coordinator for the Titans. On Thursday Night Football, the San Francisco 49ers beat the Seattle Seahawks 36-24. I went to Seattle a few years ago, and we had a layover in San Francisco on the flight back. For NFL games this weekend on Sunday, the Jaguars are playing the Bears Sunday morning in London, or at least Sunday morning here in the U.S. It'll be like afternoon over there. The Baltimore Ravens will play the Washington Redskins in the Battle of the Beltway. The Green Bay Packers host the Arizona Cardinals. The New Orleans Saints host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Philadelphia Eagles host the Cleveland Browns. The Tennessee Titans host the Indianapolis Colts. The Denver Broncos host the San Diego Chargers. The Las Vegas Raiders host the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Carolina Panthers host the Atlanta Falcons. The New York Football Giants host the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday Night Football. Well, the New York Jets host the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football. In college football, Texas plays Oklahoma tomorrow in the Red River Rivalry in Dallas. Sports Illustrated said Oklahoma will be without 3 of its receivers, while Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers is expected to get the start. Rice hosts UT San Antonio. North Texas plays at Florida Atlantic. Texas State hosts Arkansas State. Games from teams in the top 25. Number 6, Utah plays at Arizona State tonight. Number 7, Alabama hosts South Carolina. Number 10, Clemson plays at Wake Forest. Number 21, Mizzou, Missouri, plays at UMass. Number 4, Penn State plays at USC. Number 11, Notre Dame hosts Stanford. Number 22, Pittsburgh hosts Cal. Number 23, Illinois hosts Purdue. Number 14, BYU hosts Arizona. Number 5, Georgia hosts Mississippi State. Number 8, Tennessee hosts Florida. Number 13, LSU hosts number 9, Ole Miss. Number 11, Iowa State plays at West Virginia. Number 18, Kansas State plays at Colorado. Number 17, Boise State plays at Hawaii. In MLB, in the divisional series, the Mets beat the Phillies 4-1 in Game 4, win the NLDS. They're now waiting for the winner of the Dodgers and Padres series. The Yankees beat the Royals 3-1 in Game 4 to win the ALDS, and they're waiting for the winner of the Tigers and Guardians series for the ALCS. They made the ALCS for the 19th time in the history of the franchise, and that's the American League record. Former Astros first baseman Jose Abreu has signed with the team in Puerto Rico. Another Astros infielder, Mauricio Dubon, had surgery on an injured ligament he had been playing on for the last month of the season. Sports Illustrated said that the Mariners are a team that free agent Alex Bregman could sign with. MSN said the Cardinals could go after free agent pitcher Yusei Kikuchi. The Astros got Kikuchi in a trade with the Blue Jays, and they won every game that he started. Tropicana Field, the home of the Tampa Bay Rays, was severely damaged by Hurricane Milton. The roof was blown off of it. There's a whole lot of damage out there. I've had a lot of downloads. Some of the downloads that I've had on my podcast, I think I've had some from Florida. So shout out to the folks out there. And the Minnesota, writing out the baseball news, the Minnesota Twins are for sale. They've been owned by the Pollard family, who bought them from the Griffith family since 1984. They bought them from the Griffith family in 1984. The Griffiths had owned them since they had moved from Washington to Minneapolis, St. Paul. In the NHL, the Stars won their season opener 4-3 over the Predators last night. They'll play their first home game tomorrow against the Islanders. All right, coming up, some notes I took while I watched a YouTube video of the first half of which had ABC's coverage of the 1984 Red River Rivalry between Texas and Oklahoma. Okay, the 1984 Red River Rivalry was played on October 13th, 1984, at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas, during the State Fair of Texas. It was shown on ABC with Keith Juxton on play-by-play and Frank Broyles, the longtime coach at Arkansas, as the color commentator. The coaches were Fred Akers for Texas and Barry Switzer for Oklahoma. Switzer wore a cap that said "Beat Texas" on it. Mac Brown, who later coached the Longhorns to the national championship in 2005, was the Sooners' offensive coordinator. Going into the game, Texas was ranked number 1, and Oklahoma was ranked number 2, or number 1 poll and number 3 in another poll. Todd Dodge, who later became a successful high school coach in Texas and even coached North Texas for a while, was the starting quarterback for the Longhorns. It rained that day pretty much all over the state. I was in Houston with my mom and sister. It rained there too. We went to see our dad as well as our aunt, uncle, and cousins. My dad worked at Bering Home Center on Westheimer in Houston. There was a house next to the store that the Bering family owned that they let my dad rent and live in. So my mom took me and my sister over there to the store so we could spend the night with them. We waited at Bering for him to get off. Rain caused problems in the game as the Sooners punter mishandled the snap, which gave the Longhorns a good field position after the Sooners' opening possession. They had the game on at the store. One of the employees was for Oklahoma. I think he was an Aggie. Texas scored first on a touchdown pass from Dodge to wide receiver Bill Boy Bryant. Texas coach Fred Akers was a good coach. He led the Longhorns to two Southwest Conference championships in his 9 years as the coach. But like a lot of coaches who have followed legendary coaches, he was unable to match the success that Coach Darrell Royal had. Oklahoma head coach Barry Switzer led the Sooners to two national championships in the 1970s and would win a third one the following season in 1985. Oklahoma ran the wishbone and the option. I was a freshman in high school that year. A few years later, when I was a senior, the civics teacher, who had been one of the original coaches at Rosebud Lot when it opened in 1970, talked about how one of the players on the Cougar football team during that time was a highly recruited running back, and he said that both Darrell Royal and Barry Switzer were there on recruiting trips. They also showed the score of Game 4 of the 1984 World Series between the Tigers and the Padres. The Tigers won the Game 5 the next day and clinched the series. We'll see a rematch of that series this year, as right now the Tigers and Padres are both still alive in their respective division series. Well, the score at the end of the first quarter was Texas 7, Oklahoma nothing. Here are some of the commercials they showed. There was one for a GMAC, which stood for General Motors Assurance Company. Sharp Electronics, Bud Light. You know, they ask for say, give me a light, and they give them a light, actual lights. It says Bud Light. The Wagner Power Roller, Prudential, the U.S. Armed Forces recruiting video, Chevrolet. There was also a spot for the Goodyear Vector tire that was voiced by the late James Earl Jones. Coming back from one of the commercials, they showed shots of the state fair end of the original Big Tex, which later burned about 18 years later. No, 28 years later, actually. Texas was the visiting team as they were their road whites. Oklahoma was the home team as they were their home Reds or Crimson or whatever. The way they set up the seating is they put the fans for Texas on one side of the Cotton Bowl, and the Oklahoma fans are put on the other end of the Cotton Bowl. They kind of meet in the middle. Some of the players who played for Oklahoma in that game were Brian Bosworth, better known as the Boz, Spencer Tillman, who later played for the Oilers, Tony Casillas, who later played for the Cowboys on their Super Bowl teams. Tillman is now an announcer, I think. When he played for the Oilers, he had a job as a sports reporter for the NBC affiliate in Houston. Troy Aikman is also on that team, on the Oklahoma team back then. He was a freshman. It's played in Dallas because Dallas is halfway between Austin and Norman, Oklahoma, where the two campuses are. The other two schools do play on campus on their respective campuses in the other sports. In fact, last night the Texas and Oklahoma soccer teams played in Austin. And the Lady Longhorns beat the Lady Sooners 1-0. They also showed scores for other games. They promoted the game between the Packers and the Broncos for a Monday Night Football. They showed a spot. I talked about that. Like I said, they showed a spot for a Goodyear with James Earl Jones doing the voiceover. They showed a clip of Earl Campbell from the 1977 game where the Longhorns beat the Sooners on the way to an undefeated regular season record. They will go on to lose a shot at the national championship when they lost to Notre Dame in the Cotton Bowl. And of course, Campbell won the Heisman Trophy that year. The referee for the game's name was John McClintock. Whoever uploaded it to YouTube taped it off of the ABC affiliate Channel 24 there in Austin, KVUE. Kids ask your parents what a tape means. It's what you know. They now kind of like DVRing something, but a little bit different. You actually had to put a tape in a machine in order to record it. With a DVR, you just press the button and record. Jeff Ward kicked a field goal to put Texas up 10-0 with 2:34 left to go in the first half. They showed a promo for ABC's coverage of the New York City Marathon. And there were, of course, the promotional spots you see for the two schools will do right before halftime. And the score at halftime was Texas 10, Oklahoma 0. They showed ABC promos for the Ripley's TV show with Jack Palance. I remember watching that. And the show Howard Hardcastle and McCormick with Ryan Keefe and Daniel Hugh Kelly. Watch that one too. And there were some local spots from Channel 24. One was for St. David's Hospital in Austin. And another one was a promo for 24 Action News, which is what they called their newscast back then, as they used the kind of a version of what they call the Eyewitness News format. This is what Channel 13 in Houston used. Well, the video only showed the first half. Oklahoma did come back in the second half to take a 15-12 lead with the seconds remaining. Texas got the ball and drove to into the red zone. An apparent pass by Dodge that was apparently intercepted was ruled incomplete, and Texas kicker Jeff Ward kicked a game-tying field goal as time ran out. Later, when I was at my dad's house, they had the news on, and during the sports segment, they showed Barry Switzer, and he was being interviewed after the game. He looked very happy. Although I heard he still isn't. Well, the aftermath, Texas finished 5th in the Southwest Conference and went on to lose to Iowa in the Freedom Bowl. Oklahoma won a share of the Big Eight, and they lost to Washington in the Orange Bowl. In the rest of college football in 1984, BYU won the national championship. Doug Flutie from Boston College won the Heisman Trophy. He went on to lead the Eagles to a win over Houston in the 1985 Cotton Bowl game. Well, I want to thank you for listening to my podcast. My name is Chris Carlisle. Hope you like what you hear. If you do, be sure to hit the download button, leave a like and a rating. Be sure to follow whichever platform you listen on. Now on Monday, I'll take a look at the football action from over the weekend, as well as the baseball playoffs.